So you're thinking about moving to Fayetteville, Arkansas. Well, I get it. I did it myself several years ago, and people are moving back here in droves. But before you pack your bags, because you've seen all those beautiful Instagram photographs that make this place look like the most fabulous place to live in the world, and in my opinion, it is, I want to tell you a few things because living in Fayetteville on Instagram and living in Fayetteville day to day might be two different things. Hi, I'm Brooke Sanders Tennant, and I'm a realtor here in Northwest Arkansas. I've been helping people move in and out of Fayetteville and other cities here for years now. I want to welcome you to our channel. If it's the first time that you're stopping by here, I want to tell you a little bit about what you can expect. I'm going to show you the ins and the outs, the goods, the bads, the uglies of living in Northwest Arkansas, and show you all of our hidden secrets. So I hope you stick around. Today, we're going to dive in deep to Fayetteville, Arkansas, the big city, the one that started it all. We're going to talk about what makes it so special and help you decide if it's right for you. So let's get down to the truth talking here and the reality of Fayetteville. Today, we're going to show you 3 pros and 3 cons. Okay, pro number 1, growth. We are seeing tons of growth in Northwest Arkansas and in Fayetteville in particular. Fayetteville is the largest of the big 4 cities that make up Northwest Arkansas. It is about 100,000 people. It is also the home of the University of Arkansas. That's one reason why we're growing. People are constantly moving here because of the university. Now, there are 3 other major employers in the area, a little company known as Walmart. We have Tyson Foods, and we have J.B. Hunt. And they are recruiting people from across the country and around the world. And all of those people are coming into our area, and they are asking for really great things to come here as well. And the Northwest Arkansas and Fayetteville has answered the call. In Fayetteville, one of the things that I love the most is that at the Walton Arts Center, we get the Broadway series. And that means that you get to see the same Broadway shows that you'd see at a major city on the touring company. We also have an amphitheater out in Rogers, and then we have the Crystal Bridges Art Museum, not to mention all of the bike trails and surrounding outdoor activities in this area. What does the growth mean as far as living for you? Well, the good news is that the cost of living is actually lower in Northwest Arkansas than it is in most of the country. Now, people in Arkansas will tell you, well, Northwest Arkansas is really expensive to live. And I'm not going to argue that with them because compared to other cities in Arkansas, it is a little bit more expensive to live up here in Fayetteville and the surrounding area. But if you're coming from a place like California, what you can get for $500,000 is so much more than what you can get in California or Chicago or Miami or New York or even Charlotte, North Carolina for that matter. So when we talk about a $500,000 house here, well, you get several beds, you get 4 bedrooms, you get 3 bathrooms, and you probably get a nice sized yard and maybe even some amenities inside, your neighborhood. So you get a lot of bang for your buck. And recently we just had a study that showed that the cost of living here is significantly less. Our housing prices are less, not only that, but our property taxes are less and our commute times are less. That's one thing that I hear from my clients all the time is, how far is the commute from Fayetteville to Tyson Foods? How far is it from Fayetteville to the airport? How far is it from Fayetteville to the Walmart headquarters? When I tell them that your average commute in Fayetteville is probably about 20 minutes, or probably if you're going all the way to Bentonville or the airport, max 35, 40 if you're not hitting traffic. They're like, okay, well, that's doable because they're coming from places where their average commute is over an hour just to get to work every day. So it makes their quality of life so much better because they're not spending so much time in the car. They're actually being able to get home and enjoy their lives. So growth so far has been really good for this area, and it's not too late to get in on the growth and get a really good deal on a house and then watch that equity grow. So if you're thinking about moving to Northwest Arkansas, I would do it now. Okay, number 2 is my favorite, the University of Arkansas and our famous Arkansas Razorbacks. The university's spirit just permeates this entire town, and it gives it a really great, energetic, positive vibe. One reason is because Arkansas does not have any professional sports teams. The big 3 anyway. We don't have a football team, we don't have a baseball team, we don't have a professional basketball team. So our Arkansas Razorbacks are our sports teams. And so the whole state is behind this university. And there is nothing like game day in Fayetteville. There's just this electricity going on no matter where you are, when you're at the grocery store, when you're on your way to campus to attend the game. Everybody just is energetic and upbeat and having a great time. I highly recommend you go to a tailgate if you ever get the chance to do that during football season. People are friendly, the food is great. It is just a really fun atmosphere. But there's really nothing better than going into that football stadium and hearing tens of thousands of people call the Hogs. And we call the Hogs everywhere, by the way. It's not just at sporting events. I have actually called the Hogs at a Leanne Morgan comedy tour. I've called the Hogs with Garth Brooks. I've called the Hogs with Jimmy Buffett. So it's kind of an iconic thing. You need to learn how to do it if you move here, and you need to learn to like the color red. But beyond that, the university's atmosphere has really grown our entertainment district, and Dickson Street and the Fayetteville Square, in my opinion, are still the centers, the hub of entertainment and food in Northwest Arkansas. Dickson Street, that's kind of where the college bars are. If you're there after 10, definitely gonna have that college vibe to it. If you're there beforehand, there's so many wonderful places to visit. We have great restaurants like Bordino's and Theo's. If you love live music, George's, definitely the place to go. We have all of the up and coming bands. Most of them have made a stop at George's at a time or two, and kind of hear them before everybody else knows they're great. And you can also go down there during the day. Dickson Street Bookstore, oh my God, one of my favorite places. I can spend hours just wandering through that bookstore. And there's always a good patio to grab lunch, like at US Pizza, have a little drink in the afternoon. And if Dickson Street's not your vibe, you want a little more upscale, feeling more a little adultish, then I would tell you to go to the square. We have fabulous restaurants there, as well as shopping, any kind of store you want. And we've got an Onyx coffee, and guess what? It was named the best coffee in the world. Can you believe that? By Food and Wine. Pretty amazing feat. So lots to do in the downtown area, and the university has really bolstered that up. And the diverse university community has caused us to bring in a lot of cultural things in Fayetteville. So we have different types of food. We do have the Walton Arts Center where we get the Broadway shows. We have Theater Squared, which is more locally done theater. We have every kind of food known to man. And it just really has made this a fun place for people to live. So I hope you get to check it out. The third pro, well, it's the outdoors. We are called the natural state for a reason. Anything you want to do outdoors, you can pretty much do in the Northwest Arkansas area and in Fayetteville. Probably you can't snow ski, but other than that, we have pretty much anything you want. One of the biggest attractions to this area right now is the biking. We have got over 110 miles of bike trails, paved and stone, here in Fayetteville itself. One of the favorite attraction for many people is that we have what's called the Razorback Greenway. It runs from Fayetteville all the way up to Bella Vista. So you can ride your bike through all of the major cities in the Northwest Arkansas area, and people that bike love it. And along that trail, the Razorback Greenway, there's lots of restaurants and coffee shops and places you can stop and take a break. And so it's a real family-oriented thing, and it's also a great way to commute to work if that's your vibe and that's what you're looking to do. In the city of Fayetteville, the other thing we have is we have lots of parks. We have 6 major parks. And I want to tell you about my 2 favorite. The number 1 favorite park for most people, and most people know about this one, is Wilson Park. It's probably our oldest park, and it's located near the center of our city, near Dickson Street, downtown the University of Arkansas. It's actually in one of the historic neighborhoods called Wilson Park. And Wilson Park is famous because it has this little castle, and it's near a natural spring, and it kind of, I don't know, it's kind of Hobbit-esque, I guess. Is that a word? Hobbit-esque? I don't know. Anyway, but people go there, love to take pictures. We have that little spring. Also, there's lots of places for picnicking, hanging out. It's where the city pool is located. So it's always hopping during the summer because it does get a little bit hot here in Arkansas in the summer, if you didn't know that. Wilson Park's location, again, is just a gem because it's located close to everything. It's a place where the college kids go to study, where parents hang out. So that's Wilson Park, and one of the places you'll definitely visit if the park scene is what you're into. The other major park is Gully Park. It's on our east side, and it has got bike trails has a little splash pad that the kids absolutely love. Probably one of my favorite things about Gully Park. I like to walk down there with my golden retriever. Her name's Betty White, by the way. But Betty likes to run into this little stream that runs through it and splash. And the kids are usually there. And to me, like when you see these little kids in their bare feet in the stream, it's just kind of quintessential Arkansas to make your heart warm. It's also the home of our summer concert series where you get to go and just hang out with your friends, listen to live music, eat at a food truck. It's just a quintessential Southern Thursday night is when we have them. So that's kind of the outdoor life as far as the parks go. Now we also have hiking, we have kayaking nearby, we have lakes nearby. Anything you want to do, you can pretty much do in this area and not have to go very far to do it. And just to kind of give you an idea of just how beautiful our town is. We do have a botanic gardens, by the way, so that's breathtaking if you're a gardener, and there's always something to learn. But I was at the farmer's market on the square, and let me tell you, the flowers there are gorgeous. And I happened to run into the man who had played the lead in Fiddler on the Roof that I'd seen the night before. And I stopped him and just said, hey, I just want to tell you, like, gosh, you just performed fabulous. And I said, how do you like Fayetteville? And he said, oh my gosh, he goes, of all of the places we've toured, this is the most beautiful place we've ever been. He said, do you realize, like, you see the mountains from everywhere. Everywhere you look, you can see mountains. And, you know, when you live in a place, sometimes you forget that. And it really made me start to think about just how beautiful Fayetteville is. And I try to make sure I take in that mountain view anytime I see it. So if you like nature, Fayetteville might be the place you need to be. And by the way, if you're even thinking about moving here, I'd love for you to drop a comment in the comments below and let me know where you're coming from or what you're curious about for this area. It'll help me make sure that the content that I'm providing you is actually helpful. Okay. So let's talk about the flip side of all of this. I've told you all the fabulous things I love about Fayetteville. But like everything, there are some cons. So I'm gonna have to be a little bit of a negative Nelly here and talk about kind of the elephant in the room. So we talked about the growth and how great it was, how positive it was for, you know, your real estate value, that it's made this such a diverse place to live. Well, with that growth comes construction. So sometimes the construction is just going to just be a pain. We've got lots of infrastructure that's being built. We're trying to build out our highway system so that people can get around more efficiently. What you need to understand about this area is, like, unlike most major cities where you kind of have a downtown and then all the suburbs kind of grew out like the spokes on the wheel, Northwest Arkansas is 4 towns that are growing together. So we don't really have a center. And so trying to connect all of these places one to the other so that we can get to different places efficiently has been a little bit of a challenge. But they're really rising to it. The construction is kept to a minimum as much as they can as far as the street construction goes. And there's usually an alternative route. And so let me be honest with you, GPS is going to be your friend in Northwest Arkansas, because many places weren't really built on a grid. It's a mountain town, so roads are curvy, we don't have a lot of straight lines, and you can get lost pretty easily. The other type of construction you're going to see is with buildings. So we have lots of office parks that are going on, additions to hospitals that are going on, and then of course housing. We do not have enough houses for the number of people that come in to Northwest Arkansas, especially new builds. So we have a lot of new construction going on. That's the good news for you, because it means that you have the opportunity to get in on a new build, and possibly, you know, sometimes people can't buy a house till they sell one, and that can be tricky when you're looking at an existing home, because that seller will just go with the person who can close the fastest usually. So the good news about the new construction is that you do have the opportunity to kind of buy on your own time. And the good news is we have our construction is going on. It's in all different price points. So we have our starter homes, our step-up homes, and then our dream homes. So you can go anywhere from, you know, the mid 200s for a new home all the way up to over $1 million. It just depends on what you're looking for. So if you have a little bit of patience and you can deal with the construction, I promise you it's going to be worth it, but that is one of the downsides. Okay, so con number 2, kind of hinted at this a little bit just a second ago. So it's inventory. Inventory can be kind of tight in Fayetteville. So we kind of live in our own little bubble in Northwest Arkansas when it comes to real estate. while the rest of the world might be quickly going to a buyer's market, we are still on a seller's market, in my opinion, inching towards a balanced market, which means it's kind of equal for buyers and sellers. But the good homes always go fast. So that's always something that's a little frustrating for my clients that are moving into the area, because they're coming from some places that have a different market than what we have here. So what I always say, and you should do this no matter where you're living, let's just be clear. If you're going to be looking for a home, you got to get your ducks in a row. And when I say ducks in a row, I mean, get your pre-approval. Find out how much house you can buy, and also figure out what does that payment look like, because that payment is going to dictate what your lifestyle is like. So get those two things, make sure you have the pre-approval, make sure you know what your payment's gonna look like, and that way you're prepared when you go into the housing market in Fayetteville or anywhere. So when it comes to existing homes, oftentimes in Fayetteville, we have what I call special homes. And those are homes that people are gonna compete for. So you need to make sure that you're ready to go after those and are ready to make an offer, because you may not have the opportunity to go back in a week to see it. And that's the other thing, what you see this week may not be here when you come back in a month. So be prepared to write that offer. I've had clients do it. It can get frustrating to them because we write an offer and then they lose a house. And had a really nice guy that he's one of my favorite people. He moved here from California, and the first house we wrote an offer on had 10 offers on that house. And we lost out because we weren't prepared. You know, who knew? It was just the first time he was looking. Who knew we were going to walk into this dream home? So he lost that one. It was pretty disappointing. And then fast forward a couple weeks, and a house with a very similar vibe, but actually a better lot for what he wanted, because they really wanted to have like a greenhouse and a garden, and the first house didn't have that kind of a yard. So this one comes on the market, and we do the tour, and we find out that there's 2 other offers. But he was prepared because he knew at this point it's time to like put your money where your mouth is. So in Fayetteville, my goal for all of my clients is, let's find what you're looking for. Let's, make that list of things that you want and that you need, and be ready and be prepared to make that offer when that dream home or that perfect home or as close to perfect home comes up, because you need to make the offer then, because it probably won't be there the next time you come by to see it. Okay, so the final con is just simply this: the expectation versus the reality. And I don't know how else to explain it, but depending on what your expectation is of Arkansas, it may be a little different than what you think. We are rural, we do have small town life, but we also have some big time amenities. Like I said, we have theater, we have art, we have music, we have sports. But if you're looking for that big city life where you can order takeout at 1 a.m. from the Chinese restaurant, probably not going to get that here in Arkansas, especially in Fayetteville. We're open pretty late most places, but when you do that kind of late night takeout, that's not going to happen. If you want high-end shopping, if you need Nordstrom's and all the big names, we don't have that here either, but you got the internet. So it's a little bit of an adjustment, especially if you're coming from a major city moving into this area. But most people find that the quality of their life far outweighs the things that they miss about a big city. And the good news is we have a great airport. We have nonstop flights to almost every major city. So when you need that city feel, it's pretty easy to get that. So here's the bottom line. Fayetteville is a fabulous, fun place to live. We call it funky. It is a great place to live. Is it for you? Well, that's something that you have to figure out, and I would love to be the person to help you do that. I help people work through this decision every single day, so I'd love to talk to you about your potential move to Fayetteville or anywhere in Northwest Arkansas. Reach out to me. Give me a call, text me, schedule a Zoom call with the QR code. I can't wait to hear from you, and I hope that this helps you make your decision about whether or not Fayetteville is for you.